I had an insane conversation at work yesterday, and it really just kind of blew my mind on how some people perceive certain areas where you live and how they perceive the area where they live. So let me give you the background. So my job, I work in the government, and everyone at my job makes the same pay, unless you're a supervisor or doing some other kind of detail. So everyone's making around, eventually you make around 100K a year. So everyone's making 100K a year. And everyone has different situations. Someone might have a wife that works and then they work, so they're making maybe 200K a year or 170 a year, depending on what their spouse makes. And then some people don't have their wives working, and it's just them working, or their husband's not working, or whoever it is. Everyone's situation is different. So I told one of my coworkers, a while ago, hey, you should look in the area I live in because, we have the duplexes and you could really house hack. Wife is works as a nurse, and you and your wife could really live in this neighborhood and like come up on a lot of money by house hacking and lowering your expenses. So I tell him this was a couple years ago, and he comes back and it's all jokey kid, and he comes back and says, nah, my wife said, it's kind of the hood, I don't want to live around there. They kind of look at this as the hood. Mind you, they're from the hood. It came to me that they kind of look at where I live as the hood. So I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever. I'm living here. I don't want too many people to move here, because then that's when property taxes go up and all kind of things like that go up. And I would like to keep the houses the way they are. The coworker doing well. They just bought a $300, almost $400,000 house about an hour away outside of the main city. Nice big house, $2,500. Probably end up being a $3,000 payment, HOA fees, I'm sure, with the kind of neighborhood it is. Just bought a Tesla. Like I said, wife has a great job, nurse. He's a government worker, whatever. Probably making 200K a year. Congrats, 31, 32, whatever. And he comes, hey, calls my name. We're all at the front counter, my job, wherever. Hey, you live in the hood, don't you? Oh man, here he goes with this again. It's all jokes, right? It's all jokes. Yeah, it's not the hood. People don't understand that even if it is the hood, there's always good sides and bad sides of wherever you live. So he called the hood. It's not the hood. Kind of just making fun of, the location where I lived at. Looked up the location, saw how cheap the houses were. Oh man, this house is 60K. What? That's crazy. Like, yeah, you and your wife